see if we can do it this way. Yo, yo, yo. Is that you? Okay, I sent you the invite. So at the bottom of your screen, you should see the invitation to join my live. You see that? Let's see. So I sent you the invite. So I just need you to patch in. Here we go. Yeah, it's saying I can't bring you on camera. I don't know how you're. I just added you. There we go.
Girl, you there?
I can hear you
It
now.
took you
It
gas because
took you a while, but you got it.
on my end, it kept kicking me out, kicking me out. Hey there, hi there, ho there. I hope all of you guys can see. Can you see me well, Gigi? Genesis?
Yes, I can.
Oh,
Kind of
great, great,
feedback.
great, great. So we just getting 1, 2, 3, 4, 5th.
Okay.
And now for our feature presentation.
No stone is unturned when you tune into Just Toy Talking Too Much. Just Toy Talking Too Much. We talking sex, marriage, relationships, prejudice, politics, girl, your rights, my rights, the way that I see it, the way that we talk. When we talk real talk, and that's the double truth.
Say, people, you talk too much. And if you're talking, you can't be listening. But you need to be listening to just for talking too much. Get it?
And that's the triple truth. Hey there, hi there, ho there. Welcome to a live interview with a beautiful individual by the name of Genesis High. And this is going to be my first interview on my platform, Just Toy Talking Too Much. And I am really, really excited here. It took us time because she was getting kicked out and I was getting kicked out. But for who all and all the others that will join, can I please get an applause for self-published author, poet, and artist Genesis High for Method to the Madness. Yes. 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 Yes.
Oh, crew, hold on. Let me push this up some.
I need to
Okay.
get you a little bright light. Like I need to see some
Well,
more bright.
it's
Because you look a little deep.
yeah, I got you. Hold on.
You're looking a little dim over there, so let's kind of hook you up. I'm trying to hook this scarf.
That better?
Much, much better. Much, much better. I want them to see your faces. So I want to say
Okay, like my
gratitude for
face.
blessing me. All right, fix it. I want to say gratitude for blessing me with the opportunity to speak with you in regards to your journey
Okay.
to becoming a self-published author, a writer. Your podcast is going to jump off at 6 p.m. Eastern time,
Yep, I got we
right?
go.
Okay.
Thank you for that drop. Soul Feel Sunday. We do it every Sunday. It's me and my partner, my infinite. And we
Mm,
talk we as you do. We try and talk real talk and more so, healing ourselves
yeah,
so that we can heal outside of ourselves for the most part.
right, right, right. And so, before I can be found on Instagram, just toy talking the number too much. Also, I can be found on the main platform that I utilize the most is Toy High, just toy talking the number too much on YouTube. I have a lot of content that I upload. I like to entertain, lip sync, and do rants, I like to do I do dialogue that makes you think and dig deep. And
Right.
also, Genesis, if you can please tell the people where they can find you on your social medias.
Yep. You can find me and my book on Facebook. I am Jen the Peacock High. You can also follow me on Instagram at Genesis High Writes. That is my author account, and also Red Magic 444. It's my personal. Twitter Red Magic 444. That's my little lit account. I am available at Barnes and Nobles as well as Amazon, or if you want to get a signed copy, you can go to Kinetic, Kenetic concepts.com /M2MM. Yes. And you can cop that
Okay.
or DM. I can ship you one. It's all good. But yeah, I'm excited to be here. Thanks for asking me to do your first live interview. I kind of felt that
Interview,
coming.
and I'm excited because I'm gonna start tweeting. I'm gonna once I do hook it all up. I'm excited, and I'm excited because as an artist,
Mm,
I believe that what a lot of people don't know that being an artist to me is like a fear
mm,
with a dichotomy of charismatic mixed.
okay.
And the reason why I say a fear is because you have an angst sometimes. You have these thoughts and these
Mm-hmm.
feelings because your mental play with you.
Mm,
These things and you want to be seen
yeah.
because you know that you are given with the talent, but how will others perceive it and how will they receive it? So there's a process that you go through.
Right.
It's just like being a newborn.
Right.
We just don't come here and we start
Yeah.
walking, right? So just as an example, for
Right.
those celebrities that have made it was a process on, practicing, rehearsing,
Mm-hmm.
learning how to dance, learning how to sing, all of that. So what was your
Mm-hmm.
process and coming out of
Well,
the fear into the I'm gonna be a peacock?
I got you. So that's two different processes. When it came to as far as being the artist portion of me, I can say I kind of always grown up around art, and it's always been an
Okay.
inspiration. Um, and so at a young age, I did my first, I guess, open mic when I was in middle school at the school library. And from there, it just kind of catapulted. Um, I would say the fear that crept in for me was I am talented, but will my sexuality get in the way of that? Will the presentation that I am, where I'm comfortable, is that still going to be accepted because of the different moral codes that people have? And so I tried to dress like my mother and sister, and I was like, while it's cute, it's not for me. It wasn't for
It's
me,
not real.
but it wasn't for me. And so I still kept doing spoken word, and it was, literally you and a few other people that was like, get on the mic, get on the mic, get on the mic, get on the mic, get on the mic. So
Right.
it helped me get over that fear that
Mm.
that the exterior, it didn't matter what was exterior, was what was going on inside of me, which was
Mm.
going to catapult me or tear me down.
Mm.
And so I
Mm.
actually started writing one book initially. Actually, Method to My Madness is not my first book. I would say it's my third. It's my first published book. But what I did was I had one that I wrote in like middle school, high school, and it got around the whole school, and they were like, "We're putting you in all these contests," and I'm like, "Ah, okay." And
Mm-hmm.
then I
Remember
was
that.
writing with else. We didn't finish that, and so Method to My Madness came about again. Someone gave the idea. The initial idea was Urban Lust, and that partnership didn't work out. And I was like, you know what? This is powerful. I use the book as a part of my healing journey, and
Mm.
just to be like, I finished this on my own, and it's popping. So, the fear to me comes from self,
Mm.
and you're projecting your own judgments and thinking that other people are projecting
People
those judgments.
see you how
But
you
it's
see
really
yourself.
right.
Right. Um, I'm glad that you said that because it took a lot of people to tell me over and over, family, loved ones, friends, to tell me over and over again, like, I don't get why you see that. Like, how do you see yourself like that? Because I had a tendency to see what society considers as flaws,
Hmm.
especially being a woman of color and being a woman of a certain color, and then being a woman of a certain grade of hair, and a woman of also not having this projective body that society says that I have to have. By going through all of that and seeing what I saw, this is what I just presumed and assumed that others saw of me. And so it's once that I went onto the inside and accomplished, like, you know what, this is really what's on the inside of me. So all of this robust and this energy and this light, this is what's on the inside of me. So this is what's going to crack this fear.
Right.
Segueing into the portion of where you spoke about your sexuality
Hmm.
and in your healing journey and people not accepting you for a different lifestyle that's not up to their moral standards or their moral codes.
Hmm.
Basically, what society says that we're all supposed to be heterosexual.
Right.
You said that writing was cathartic for you and
Hmm.
that it was healing. So, what was your healing? What was your acceptance for you? When did you come into the acceptance of being comfortable with you and bringing that to the light?
I would say probably 19, 20. And I had decided I wanted to be happy, and I wanted to be happy being me. And I wanted to ensure that I wasn't living my life based on someone else's standards. I wanted to make sure that I was living
Mm-hmm.
my life based off of my standards. I felt comfortable with what was my moral, what was my ethic, how did I want to feel, and not worry about what it made others feel. So, once I did that, because I had very angry, like anger issues and stuff like that. But once I was like, you know what, I'm gonna be me. I'm gonna be me. I'm gonna lock my hair. They gonna call me a wild child, goddess light, all of this, but it's what makes me whole. And
Mm-hmm.
so, even in that process, it took some time because you have so many stereotypes and so many divisions and so many fractions, even within the lesbian community. And so you add, okay, well, you're a podcast, you're an entertainer, and you're a writer, and you're a poet, and it's like, oh, she just wants attention. No, that's really all that I am. All of these things. And
Mm-hmm.
so, hey, Heaven, hey, Boo. Sorry, I had to shout out. See my sis in the building. Thank you so much for watching. But I had to get to that comfort, and actually, it's funny. That's one of the people that was Heaven is one of the people that was around me in my
Instrumental.
peacockish stages,
Mm-hmm.
and it was just like, just be you.
Mm-hmm.
I love that were around me that encouraged me, like, you need to be happy in your own skin. You need to do what's gonna make you happy. You need to push forward. And so I did the performed at Apache. I performed at Urban Grind. I performed at so many different places in Atlanta. And um,
You did. I'm gonna pause you. I'm gonna
mm,
pause you just real quick, and it's rude and crass, but because we know each other.
right.
My biggest, and I don't think you know this, I did not have an issue. You know this
Hmm.
with any of that.
Right.
My concern was just what you said. Just what you said. My concern was you said, well, I'm just gonna be me and I'm gonna lock my hair and I'm gonna dress like this. Let's be clear. Being a parent of a child, whether it's female or male,
Hmm.
that is not heterosexual,
Hmm.
for me, it wasn't a non accepting. There was nothing in my head, nothing in my brain that would say, I can't accept her because this is who she loves or who she's attracted to.
Hmm.
My biggest fear was, and I don't know if you know this, I was not going to be able to protect you
Protect you.
as a parent
Right.
with you changing
Hmm.
the way your appearance was. And if someone said something to you or
Right.
happened to do
It was
something
a
to
problem.
you, I felt that you were bringing it to you. And
Mm-hmm.
here I am, Mama Bear.
Mm-hmm.
And that's why it was, if anything in the world that had me worried wasn't your sexuality, it was what came along with how you're dressed right now.
Right.
Because I didn't want anyone to try you.
All the bitches. No.
I didn't want anybody to try you.
Right.
So my thing was, our debate came from, Mommy, I don't want to wear makeup. That's fine.
Right.
So what?
Right.
I don't want to wear dresses. That's fine.
Right.
So what?
And
Can't you do the fight the power and the hair and
right.
and wear the little army fatigue? Do you have to? And then I said, you know what? You are Miss High.
Mm-hmm.
You're a hypocrite.
Mm.
And I had to live in that stench of being a hypocrite
Mm.
because when you're and you're flashy and your clothes and you're this and that and you're extra, you want people to accept you. So there's
Right.
a comfort in other people's uncomfortability.
Mm.
And I'm here to tell you that I'm me being flamboyant and comfortable with it. It makes others who are not comfortable with themselves uncomfortable.
Right.
Because I'm the light that comes in the room. And it's not, I'm saying light as in diva moment or
No,
ego moment. It's
like,
because that's just who I am. I'm bright. I'm excited. I'm Bugs Bunny, Daffy Duck, Diana Ross, all of that. And that might make others uncomfortable. So guess what? It's comfort in my comfortability.
right.
So once I came and stopped being a hypocrite
Mm-hmm.
and saying, this is how she wants to dress, this is how she wants her hair, there was a burden released.
Mm-hmm.
In your art form, in this book, in your healing, what Gucci bags, Michael Kors bags, Louis Vuitton bags, Kenneth Cole bags did you drop off
Ooh,
along the way?
the first
Also, wait a minute, two-part question.
part, okay,
You had therapy.
I did.
So when you were doing your therapy,
Mm-hmm.
were you still working on this book at the same time?
No, I'll answer that.
Okay. Was this
Um,
okay?
the first book, I had started actually writing it about 4 years ago. And
Mhm.
I was actually, like I said, writing it with somebody else. It didn't pan out. And I was like, I'm going to take my portion and make this into a book. And I began going to therapy um, because I wanted to make sure I was okay mentally, that I wasn't, losing it or not where I needed to fully be mentally. And so once I got through that, it seems like everything was just like boom, 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 boom. And as far as moving myself into the next level. And so when I got into, I ended up moving, and I was in a studio, and it allowed me to be within all of my art and to be surrounded with me. And so by me doing that and being surrounded with me, I was up. It was days I would go and just write. And
Mhm.
a few people have said, "Oh, you're urban. You're definitely urban. Like the swag, the presentation, and everything." And I said, "I can see that." And then the people that know me be like, "Oh, you're urban, and you're indigo." And I'd be like, "Okay, I can see that." But it was a
Let's be
I am
clear. Let's be clear. These are characters in your book, so you have
in
to. People might not know who Urban is.
so
Okay.
the book it has 5 characters. I chose five
Okay.
because 5 is like my number. I was born in May, which is the fifth. It's my number. It's my number. And
Okay.
each character is a representation of Genesis. Um, Blair is a character in the book. She is a trans woman, and she's going
Mm.
through therapy. She's had a lot of uh, previous issues growing up, dealing with abuse, a lot of psychological abuse and physical abuse. While it is an uh, overwhelming version, I didn't go through those things, but I
Mm.
needed to have a character that was transitioning, because even in my own
Mm.
life, as going from feminine to I'm truly more masculine identified, and going through that transition, and my family having to go through that transition with me to say this is who she is and this is who she wants to be. When it comes to peacocks or studs or MOCs or AGs, we go through a transition period. And so I had to
Mm.
have represent that trans energy. And so then you have Indigo.
Mm.
She's an attorney. She's a civil attorney, and she's bad. She takes her craft serious. She separates business from pleasure, and but at at night she's off the chain. She's still dominant. And so with that type
Mm.
of character, I needed to show. not only am I dominant in my profession, and excuse me, but I'm dominant when the lights go off as well in many different ways. And so then you have the detective, and it's Jerry is definitely the balanced version of me, because she's trying to figure the shit out. And it's like, hold on, and I'm definitely invested.
A fix it mentality.
And she comes off as being submissive. She comes off as being dominant on her job and submissive, but once you see that Jerry really holds her, or Caitlin, she really holds a lot of the power, it's like, hold on. So each character, like I said, they definitely are a representation. I dropped a lot of relationship bags in there. I dropped a lot of healing, transitioning from relationships, marriages that you think are beautiful on the outside because you see these people doing all of these things and they have all these businesses and they're flirting
On the inside.
but in the inside they all fucked up. And so
Message. This is why you don't keep up with the Joneses. Message. This is why you don't keep up with the Joneses. Let me tell you something, Elvin. If you don't stop trying to buy all these Range Rovers and these Mercedes Benz, and you don't try to stop trying to eat every time somebody get a new one, and a lettuce park up, and they paint, and they got the Michael and this, and every time you don't know if that man is beating on that woman, you don't know if those kids are being abused. And let me tell you something, I am not only a semi-client, I have been COO over others who have been in these precarious situations. I am talking about, we hear it, and it doesn't resonate because when you don't go through it. But when you see curses, I've seen people go Gucci bags, Coach bags, Michael Kors bags to give you society. What they tell you, what they sell you in movies, TV commercials, reality TV, especially with the Love and Hip Hops and the Real Housewives and the franchises, and it's no disrespect to any of them. What do you see? Oh, you see the Birkin bag, you see the iPhones, you see the okay, she has to have the this and the Coach this, and this is the this and that and this, and you what they're getting out of, and you're trying everything that you possibly can to keep up.
Mm-hmm.
You doing everything that you possibly can to keep up and don't know the turmoil of what's going on in the inside because we all wear masks. That is what makeup is.
Yep.
That is what clothing is. And everybody does it differently. Some people do it with food. Some people do it with jobs, but the mask. So I'm gonna have to put this mask on to give you the perception that everything is all good. And so you were living in this
in a
faux paradise if others were looking. But everything on the inside was poison and turmoil.
Yeah.
And so when you came out of that, you decided to do therapy. And then you moved into your studio. And then you became this 180, not a 360.
Right.
You did a 180.
Right.
And you dug into yourself. And you pulled all that out and you came up with this great book called Method to the Madness.
Method to my madness, yes.
Method to the madness. Method to my madness.
No, it's Method to my madness, not Method to
Wait a minute, you stopped. Oh, I thought you froze. I was like, yeah, I know the name of the book, but you get where I'm going.
Right.
Like it's a method to the madness.
Yeah, it's definitely.
And so I'm getting all this. Go ahead.
No,
go ahead.
It's definitely it's a lot of madness. It's a 5-part series of madness.
Talk about that. Talk about what made you just want to do can't say a trilogy, but
right.
You're like a VC Andrew. She kept writing all those flowers in the attic. And kept
to have their moment. And I think even with ourselves, we need to be able to give ourselves, each part of ourselves or each representation of ourselves, their moment. I've gave the poet its moment. I've gave the entertainer, you know what I'm saying, the promoter, their moment. So it's like now it's like this is the author's moment, this is the teacher's moment, um this is that moment. And it was I feel like there is already so many um taboos and so many different cliches that come with the pretty boys and so that's why I was like, I'm a peacock, don't call me that, I'm a peacock, and that's what it is. I'm gonna put my feathers up. And being able, I actually have had several heterosexual women and a couple of men that have read the book and have had and enjoyed it, because I write it to where you're not distinguishing. It's almost non-binary, right? So I'm using the names rather than pronouns. Robin da 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 DJ. You know what I'm saying? And that allows you to get into that character. Um, it took, I would write for each one in sessions. And I started noticing when I wrote for Blair, I would only really write for her when it rained or when it was really cold, and mostly at night. And when I wrote for Indigo, it was in the dead of the night. Or it was, and so when it came to the different characters, and I would be like, okay, I need to write for this one. And they'd be like, no, we ain't ready yet. And when I would write for each one, it would pour out like, now we're ready to talk. We're ready to tell our story. And so it's crazy because I wrote chapters for just one character and blended in different scenes, and then I wrote around it to blend it in. And so then I went
That seems like a lot of work, but okay, that was your,
like,
and that's why I stated, Miss Genesis, you're correcting me for saying, I know the name of your book,
my
A Method. You feel me now? We here?
yeah.
Because this is what's so great about being an artist. Because only you, the artist, understands you, the artist.
Mm-hmm.
And you can try and explain how you feel on the inside to people on the outside, but people on the outside can't really understand what's going on the inside because they're not you.
Right.
And it's just like a person who's in a coma and can hear everybody talking and they want to talk and they're answering you. And in that coma, they feel like I'm moving my legs, I'm moving my arms, but y'all just can't see me. You can't hear me, but I'm screaming. And so to me, and only because I'm being bipartisan, that I feel like being an artist is like, it's like carrying burdens upon burdens because you have so much that's on the inside of you and you want to get it out, even if nobody listens. But it would be great for you as an artist if people received your art for exactly what it was.
Right.
And when I write, that's a lot of work. That's too much. I can't. Okay, I'm gonna write about her, then him, and then okay, when the rooster crows, I'm gonna write about Jim Bob, and then at night at 12 o'clock, I have a cup of coffee. I'm gonna write about Gigi, and then I see it's too much on the chronic sack, and I don't have no money to pay for it.
Okay.
I can't do it. And then you gonna come around on the left side. Now I'm gonna pull everybody together. That's too much. Me, I'm just like, okay, she was over here and stuff just comes to me. But you got 7 books and you done put it in. That's why I said it was a method to your madness.
Right. It definitely.
That's why I said what I said
when
I said what I said.
Some artists, they flourish or they create within a specific emotion or feeling. And because they're creating within that specific emotion or feeling, when they're not there and you view their art or you listen to it, it's like, I ain't feeling this because they're not in that same space. So when I was writing the book, I didn't just want to have the portion that was hurt or the portion that was healing or the portion that was healed. I wanted all of it. And that way, when it comes to the next books in the series, you're seeing, okay, I'm growing with these characters. I'm growing, and it's a lot of jewels. I think
And I'm healing with these characters.
mhm. I with the descriptions that I give it's if you're reading it, I'll say it like this: if you're reading it for the sex, that's what you're gonna get. If you're reading it for the drama, that's what you're gonna get. But if you're reading it for the gems, because it's multi-layered, and everyone that has read it multiple times. I kid you not. They're like, I'm on my fourth time reading it because now I'm seeing it like this. And then it's like, now I'm seeing it like that. And so, the first thing to draw.
It's like watching a movie. You can watch a movie 90 million times and see something different each time.
Mm-hmm.
And learn something different each time.
I wanted it to be layered. I wanted it to be where you could just go and read just one character, and that story is a story in itself. Or you could go and you could just Indigo, and it's a story within itself. So even if you didn't read anybody else's and you was like, okay, it's in series, and I wanted this to be action packed. I wanted it to be very visual when you read it. My purpose was to get people like this to put a book back in their hand for the most part. It's like audio
Right.
books.
Because it's like now that's a lost art.
Right.
Now that's a lost art.
It is.
You know what? I want to say this before I forget. I want to give you major mad kudos.
Thank you.
Because this girl self-published her books. And I'm saying girl, but I don't want to, I mean girl, grown woman. But I'm saying like as in girl. And was selling out every time she got a box delivered. Let's be clear. There was no backing of any major publishing. There was no book deal. There was no, if you sell this amount, there was none of that. Let's be clear. And not every, that's a lie. Let's not lie. At least in the beginning when this book, and you got the first shipment, I would talk to you 2 or 3 days later and you were sold out. Then another 2 days later and you were sold out. And then it was sell out. And I'm in awe of that because this is different. Also, I believe, no disrespect to you, none, that if the pandemic wouldn't have hit, you would have been like the street pharmacist, as in, and been selling out of your car.
Yeah.
And grinding. And there would have been more books sold.
Right.
In triple times triple. I know that if even with the pride and not even relying on your people who are LGBTQ plus community, but just you as a person, because that's who you are, would start to talk and tell them like, bam, 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 like you need this book, like you want this good coffee, I'm gonna give you this book.
Right.
And would have sold more. But this pandemic, I believe, and that's my opinion and I'm entitled to it, stopped you from being like the Elin Harris, may he rest in heaven, how he's slaying his books. Like if anyone is if there are some people out there that'll listen to once we edit everything and listen to this broadcast later upon, if you're familiar with California or if you're familiar with the East Coast and how they do things and the hustlers of people of color, okay, the greatest thing of an invention is because when we really believe in ourselves, when we come out of the fear and we like, this is my talent, you may not like it, but it's going to be about 50,000 people who will. And
Right.
that's how I feel about what I do.
Right.
So just because that's just because the 30,000, because you don't see the 30,000 that don't like you before you see the
Oh yeah.
50,000 that do. Let's be clear.
Yeah.
So that's what gets you the frustration and the fear and you know, like, well, it's something they don't because I don't particularly care for trap rap, but I'm telling you, it don't matter because it's about 3 million people who do.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, facts. So when they were hustling their music, hip hop artists, they would sell out of their cars, especially in Cali.
Mm-hmm.
Too Short. Master P told you if you watched his documentary, he was slaying
Mm-hmm.
out of his trunk.
Yeah.
And Elin Harris is a person who got a book deal from, I believe that if this pandemic didn't hit, you would have a book deal.
Yeah. I got.
And Doubleday would be the
I,
one that would give it to you. I'm sorry, I apologize, but I just wanted to give you your kudos because I know that this book would have done. And the reason why I brought it up is because we hear it and we can always apply any scripture regardless. If this scripture is telling you that faith is dead without works,
mm-hmm.
this young lady put in every seed she planted. First thing was, let me write the book. Second thing was, let me edit the book. I'll find an editor, but I can do all things.
Mm-hmm.
All things. Nothing's impossible. And let me do this and let me do that. And then let me present you with this gift that's been in my heart.
Mm-hmm.
And this healing that I hope that I can share with you, that you'll see and you'll receive and you'll get a healing and you'll get an understanding and a perception that I was bringing it to you this way, but you got it over here this way. And I'm happy that you did. A beautiful body of work. I love the characters. I'm a sexual being, but I didn't look at it like that.
Right.
These folks was off the chain.
Facts. And I think when you have,
And some were borderline like, you got a problem. Like, why are you so extra?
mm-hmm. And I think
And each part,
you have so many proclivities
ugh,
that you aren't able to express outwardly. You end up internalizing those proclivities, and once you find somebody that might be down with the get down, you might overexert, and that's too much of a
and
good.
overwhelm them.
Right.
And Indigo, she's a slicked it. She's a slick one.
Yeah.
She's extra out. And I could see it. And I saw her, I just saw it coming from the beginning.
Mm-hmm.
It was, sly. And then, it's just, the book's a great book. So you need to get the book. You really need to get the book. It's Method to the Madness. It's a 5-part series. You're going to see a lot of healing, and she has started along the way. I also want to mention that this is not the first time that you are published. In fact, you are have been internationally published. Tell them a little bit about that.
Yeah. It was a minute ago. I think I was about 16, 17, and I've always had great mentors and people that outside of my family, as far as teachers, that always pushed me to do more. And so,
Mm.
my English lit teacher came and she was like, I need you to enter this international poetry contest. And I was like, international? You mean with millions of people? And she was like, yeah, but just do it. So I was going through so many, like going through all my poems and trying to figure out what am I gonna send these people? Like, what do they want to read from me? And so you had to
Mhm.
submit 3 poems, and I did, and she looked over them, and she was ecstatic, and I told my dad about it, told you about it, and so I think it took like maybe a month, and my English lit teacher was like, don't worry, you gotta know that they have entries that are coming from all these different places, and blah, 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 and I'm like, okay, so whatever. I forgot about it. She came to me about a month later with a letter, and she's all waiting till class ends, and she's like, "I need you to stay after class." And I'm like, "What did I do?"
Okay. Like, what
Oh,
did I do?
right, what did I do? And so when that happened, she was like all red, and she started crying, and she was like, "I'm so proud of you." And I had made it into the finals. Once I made it into the finals, we submitted more work, and I got to the top 10, I believe, and got
Out
there.
of millions.
I was invited to. I wasn't able to go because my dad was like, "No, you're not going out of the country," even though it was like in Canada or something. Um, to the banquet and to come and accept my award and things like that. But of course, being in high school, I wasn't able to do that, so they sent it to me. But
Mhm.
that,
And they had a little gathering for you to do that.
yeah, it was like a whole
Mm-hmm.
banquet type presentation. But they
Mm-hmm.
sent me a book. It was a huge book because, of course, you had people from like all over the world. It was
Like that thick.
about, yeah, it was about like that, and so
Yeah.
um, it was cool. That is then I did what freedom means to me. I won that for my district. Um, and I did one in regards to the American flag. I won that for my district. Um, and I ended up doing an essay on MLK and the movement. We did a parade. I won that for my district. So it just was it.
And I want people to know that this is not just a journey that just started from there
Right.
because, and then after that, I believe your senior year, you were the
Uh,
editor.
Senior year, well, I was on the school newspaper. My senior
No, junior.
Junior year, I started off as opinions as a well, sophomore I started as a writer, staff writer. Junior year,
Mm-hmm.
I became a co-editor, and then
Mm-hmm.
I switched over to opinions editor my junior year, and then senior year I was the opinions editor. That was cool too. I ended up like I would have like the deans and principals coming to me because I'm a writer. And so I would write certain articles, and it was one in particular about the campus cleanliness of specific buildings or whatever. And Miss Brinkman
Mm-hmm. I
coming in the
remember that.
right, and she's like, "Miss Highmore, come here," and I'm like, "What did I do?"
What did
So
I do?
calls me into her office with my guidance counselor. She's like, "What can we do to not get any more of these articles?"
That
And so I was like, that was cool. And then I ended up starting a column, hip hop versus rap. And it got to the point, it kept going on for so long during the duration of the paper where the senior editor was like, okay, because we keep getting responses. Everybody kept sending responses in. Oh, we got something to say, or we need to do debate. Then I was on the debate team for a little while. So, um, Multicultural Ambassador. I was that as well. So it was a lot. It was a lot.
I I believe the dysfunction that you've been in, the healing that you've done, the journey that you have taken,
Hmm.
of course, has led you to be the beautiful individual that you are.
Yeah.
And it doesn't feel good to go on the journey, does it?
It doesn't,
Because
especially not at such a starting at
young age.
a young age. Um,
Hmm.
because I was writing on an adult level. Um,
You really were.
And
You
so
really were.
to Shades of Africa and going to, they like, if you get on the mic here, we kicking you off. We don't care who you are. And so
And tell me what happened.
it empowered me, but it made my ego get in the way. And so when you have that type of talent and that type of skill, you think that you're just supposed to see me. You should just know. And I had to come off of that and say, okay, yeah, you're a good writer, but there's other good writers. There's other great.
Yeah.
And I had the pleasure of befriending and being cool with Sister Queen. I know her government name, but she's an awesome freaking poet. She's been on Deaf Poets. She's done a lot. You know, she faded to the back, but meeting that type of person that I was enamored by, you know, just
Right.
play and everything like that. And to find out the journey that she went through, that was a mentorship for me to say, let me not do this.
Mm-hmm.
And so I've been on the entertainment aspect. I've managed. I've done promo. Um,
And I apologize. I want to say, I want to say on live, and this is going to be, I'm telling you, once this video gets hooked up, it's going to be extra once we do all the editing. Listen, I want to say forgive me
okay.
because I know that I have been pivotal
Mm-hmm.
in a lot of things that you've done.
Yeah.
Uh, Personality defects to dysfunction, because I am not a perfect mom. I have taken my children to some things. I'm glad they got therapy because it's a lot to deal with her. And this one, along with my eldest, when I sign language, she signed language.
Mm-hmm.
When I wrote, she wrote. When I worked in the entertainment industry, she came. So I'm already grooming this chick
Right.
to be multifaceted
Facts.
and to be multi-talented
Mm-hmm.
and to put 7 irons in the fire.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm going to front her right now on live. I'm going to front her. When she would say, Mom, you need to focus on one thing. She said this for years. You're all over the place. And this is why nothing doesn't get done. And this is why that doesn't do, because you all over the place.
Mm-hmm.
And it hurt my feelings, but because her and my children are very pivotal. So when they say things to me,
Mm-hmm.
and I have to decipher, because this is the type of relationship that we've grown to have to get better and better as years go by. I went with her to her, my own child, with tears in my eyes. I was like, I don't care what you say. I feel comfortable. I can do this. It feels good to do a boutique, and it feels good to build a website. And it feels good to do this, and I can do it. And then she came to me a couple weeks or maybe some days later. She said, no, that same day, she said, I get it.
I get it.
I
Yeah.
get it. And I apologize. I get it.
And it
You
does.
can't,
You can't limit.
and so
You can't limit.
you can't limit yourself. If you got 90 million talents, use all your 90 million talents.
Facts.
Another thing I would like to say and to give you kudos for, because, and I mentioned all that to say this, she's outgrown me, as your children should, in many areas. I'm gonna be like, Monique, I'm not gonna do this. I'm not gonna cry. From Roscoe Jenkins, Get Your Life.
Yeah.
Like, I'm not gonna cry. She makes me want to burn my notebook when I read her poetry.
Oh man.
I'm her number one fan, and that makes me biased. I understand.
Mm-hmm.
When you have a love for something,
Mm-hmm.
I said, I was like, why am I crying? I think it's menopause, y'all.
Whatever.
When you have, and I'm an emotional artist, I'm sensitive about my and somebody, you influence them and they go way and above and beyond. And who would have thunk it that this little lady would write stuff and literally my wig would be blown back. I'm like, this is a 16-year-old. This is a 15-year-old. This is a 17-year-old. Where did she get this from?
Mm-hmm.
Her dad, I have to give him credit. I can't not give this man credit. But all the artsy stuff, mom and we forced educate. We didn't force it. We drilled it in them. Educate. Read, 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 read. Learn, 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 learn.
Right.
And he learned. He gave her what he wanted her, and I wanted her to be this butterfly, like contemporary art, photography, music, jazz, all of this. I just throwing this all on my kids. And she makes me want to burn my notebook. And she superseded me. And that's the thing that I am proud of the most. And I'm in awe of your gift.
I appreciate that.
Of how you manipulate these words. And to me, giving you these kudos right now, because these are artists that I like, because I'm visual.
Mm-hmm.
I'm the 5, 6. I gotta see it, smell it, touch it, taste it, hear it, feel it. It's like a Missy Elliott and a Busta Rhymes having a bomb ass hit.
Okay.
And I'm talking about now I know people, I like the new, but in the I like the new music.
Mm-hmm.
But the Busta Rhymes that would be like, put your hands with all the visual and putting Timbo, Buster, Missy, and Pharrell and Swift Beats all making this beat. And then they got Missy and Buster and Tim. Let's make the video, dude. And this is what you are to me. Like all of that. With your visual, and I'm blown back because I love to see a Missy Elliott video back in the day and a Busta Rhymes video back in the day because you looking for the visuals and the music and the beat, and you're all of that to me.
I appreciate
when
it.
you write and I see your words, and it's like these artists, because and Ludacris too, because he would make the crazy looking videos, and you putting all of them together and they're rapping in these metaphors that they have. And I'm like, how does she turn a vowel and make it a noun? Like, how does she turn the noun and make it a verb? And how does she take the verb and make it a pronoun? And how does she? Because this is supposed to be an adjective, but she just totally twisted this and made it something else. And I just want to say gratitude. And also, if you go on to Just Toy Written Expression .com and you click on Genio Soul, you will see and find some of her older work, and you'll also hear a song, music that my nephew, her brother, cousin, she likes to say he's her little brother, made, and you can hear that, and she's saying her poetry over a beat. All of her older work is there. I made sure that I saved it because you move or what have you. It's great pieces. It's poignant and pieces. Also, before we get off, because I know you have to get to your podcast, there was a project that I worked with you on called On My Grind.
Mm-hmm.
And on this, with this project that you worked on was, I have to say that I was privileged to be a contributing writer, and this goes to show, like when you do 90 million things, I wanted her to be this is what I wanted as a parent. I wanted, you going to school and get your degree in English.
Mm-hmm.
You got to get this journalism degree. You're going to join this sorority. You're going to go to Clark. You're going to Spelman. What you going to do? She went to massage school. Oh, Jesus Christ of Nazareth. Mary, Jesus, and JoJo. Then she's like, Mom, I'm going to be a teacher. I'm going to be this. She was like, because I'm the Lynn of the crew. She's not the Lynn. I'm the Lynn of the girlfriends.
Right.
She's more of the Joan.
Facts.
Then she says, I don't want to do that. I think I want to teach. Okay, well, what you going to teach? I think I'm going to teach kids. Okay, well, I'm going to support that. You sure you want to teach? Because, Mommy, I want to be like you. I want to teach. Okay, well, come on. Come on, teach.
Come on, teach.
That didn't pan out either.
Mm.
So she gets this little gig through an agency working for Apple. Now she like this techie stuff.
I've always liked it.
I'm gonna get my degree in IT. This what you want to do? This what I want to do. And corporate herself all the way to the top in this department in 2 years.
A year and a half.
Catch those things. And everything she's learned along the way prepared her. I can do my own flyers. I can build a website. I know how to promote. I know how to write. I know how to edit. And she used all her talents. And this is why I'm saying it's so important for you to know. And this is what's so great about the millenniums. And this is what's the good things about the internet. And this is the good things about social media. I don't have to wait for you to say it's okay to give me a record deal, a book deal, a nothing deal. I can do it on my own. And it may take me some time, but it still takes time for those who have talent to get there. They just don't go, oh, because there's a lot of people that can sing that don't have a record deal and haven't and are just YouTubers. And Instagrammers, and they sing better than a whole lot of people that actually make music and rap a whole lot better than people who we hear rapping and write a whole lot better, and they're still doing them and they're getting paid and they're utilizing all these things. And where did it come from? And here this young lady, everything she's learned has brought you full circle to where you are now.
Yeah.
That you can promote, you can write, you can motivate, you can encourage. And that's what you are to me. You are an encourager and a motivator, and you're an influencer. And I'm hoping that when we can get to normal. I don't see it that way. That's a whole nother conversation. I know we can't do that. But just to the aspect of where you can sell 50 times more than what you've done. And that be a voice where people don't see the outside and they see what's on the inside. And that's your testimony, because what you said, you were worried about what people saw on the outside. But when I'm around you and when people talk about you, they always talk about the beautiful individual that you are. So mission accomplished.
Facts.
Kudos to you.
Facts.
Because no one ever sees the little boy clothes of what mommy thought that they would all see. And that what mommy was scared of. Because I'm not there to protect it.
Right.
Because I want you to. And then when mommy was like, it's okay that you dress. It's okay that she's like this, because you are you, and you cannot be a hypocrite and tell your children that they can do whatever they want, and then you want to stifle them. Because remember, when you were stifled, you didn't like it. I have learned so much from my children. I have learned so much from my parents. And one thing I also want to say, because we're both talkers, you posted something on your Facebook that said the most toxic relationship I've been in
with myself
was with myself. And that ministered to me so much. And I said, you know what? It's true. Because every relationship, friendship, rapport, I saw the stuff in me that I did not like, and it was at 350, and I was like, oh, if I could get it from here and just slit your throat. And I said, but this is you. You want to slice your own throat. So I was having these relationships with myself. I want to cut this short because I want you to give the finale, and I'm
Okay.
going to give the floor over to you. And in your finale, again, please leave your social media, your websites, your books, and what you got coming. And leave something motivating and encouraging. Give a deep hurt and how that deep hurt flourished into a victory.
Okay. Well, I will say for sure, uh, it's not impossible. I'm possible. And when you realize that it's not what's outside of you that's hurting you, but it's what you're feeding you that's hurting you, and you begin to detox and you begin to move into the light of self. When you say you're moving the light, that means you have to lighten your load as well, right? And so
Hmm.
as I'm moving into light, my burdens become light, my trials and tribulations become light. Those things that no longer are serving you, just let it fade away. And um, it's 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 a pool of infinite possibility. Um,
Hmm.
no pandemic has stopped or stunted anything that I'll do. I said it before and I'll say it again. Sure, I,
Mm-hmm. I'm gonna still get my money.
but I'm still doing very well, and I'm grateful.
Hmm.
Um, so with that being said, if you haven't already, please support myself. Method to My Madness. It is the book one in a 5-part series. It
Mm-hmm.
will be on sale for Black Friday for $10, and I'll have the pre-sale for book two for 15. Book two drops January 20th, 2021. Because if you flip the date, it's book two
Yes.
will be out in January. I'm excited about that. You can get your pre-orders in next week for Black Friday. If you haven't gotten book two, you can also grab that. Guess what? You can grab both for $25. Um,
Mm-hmm.
with that being said, please follow me on Instagram. My writer's page is Genesis High Rights. Or you can follow me on Twitter, Red Magic 444, and on Facebook, Jen the Peacock High. If you have some time today, please stay online and come and check us out over at Soulfield Sunday
Please,
Class. We are the
please.
and we get into we put the paint where it ain't. It's all about self love, homeless, and I do appreciate you for the time to speak with me.
Yes.
It's been a beautiful
Yes.
experience.
I appreciate you taking time out with me today. And I wish that I was having so many. I see now why they say the technical difficulties and stuff and everything, because I experienced my laptop kicked me off. My I couldn't get on, and I was ready at 10:30, and I couldn't get on. And the great thing, I do want to say this before I go, is that I was tweeting all night, and the best times to tweet
Mhm.
sometimes is 11, 12 o'clock, because you get the people overseas who really are into our culture.
Mm.
You just got to go check my Twitter. They
Okay.
retweeted this interview, and I couldn't get on my live. I promised to get on the YouTube live, and it was a lot of the LGBTQ community, so shout out to them. And it was also from the transgender community, shout out to them. And they also started following me. So this is I can't wait to edit this. I can't wait to hook it up, and I just appreciate your time,
Oh.
and I wish you the best and continued success, and it's always going to be much love for you. And now that you know that I see you as this video, that you're the bomb. Again, I want to say gratitude for tuning into another episode of What? Just Toy Talking Too Much, where we talk real talk, the talk that you would talk with your friends. Gratitude. Good night.